Years later, mankind finally achieved FTL, but by that time, mankind was on the verge of extinction, and the few remaining humans were left drifting alone in space. The Earth had become a dead planet more than 100 years ago due to a nuclear war. But the survivors built a large number of spaceships and flew in search of new habitable planets. But after more than 100 years, there was still no success. Henry is an Earthling born in space and after the death of his parents. He wanders alone in space for decades searching for a habitable planet, knowing that the chances of finding one are slim. But his longing for Earth grows stronger and stronger. Henry learned from his parents how beautiful and rich Earth was. A blue planet with endless seas and rolling hills, bustling cities and beautiful quiet villages. But because of the war, the Earth had become a dead planet. All Henry had heard about the Earth was what he had heard, and all he had seen was a sketch of the Earth that his parents had drawn for him. After some thought, Henry decided to give up the search for a habitable planet and went to see the Earth that had haunted his parents. With that in mind, he immediately adjusted the ship's course, put away the binoculars, turned the ships back to Earth, set all the flight parameters, and when everything was ready, he activated the FTL mode. In the blink of an eye, the ship disappeared into the universe because of its speed. The surrounding planets turned into dots of light and quickly passed by, instead of waiting for death in the darkness of space. It was better to die to fulfill his dream, although he did not know how it would turn out. His longing for the Earth made Henry very determined. The Germans spent $6 million to buy 9 sheep and drove them all into a 1.9 million chariot for experimentation and immediately set up a Soviet rocket launcher aimed at the 1.9 million chariot and fired a shot worth $80,000. Whether the sheep died or not, they could be reimbursed in the name of equipment experimentation. Never imagined that this 1.9 million combat vehicle, 17 years, $14 billion in research and development process is actually a case of corruption to change rice into mulberry. In 1968, the German army decided to develop a new type of personnel carrier to replace the expensive M113 armored car. The new car was temporarily named Brightly at the same time. Equipped with a 20mm machine gun, can not only provide fire support for the infantry, can also penetrate light tanks. The biggest advantage of the new vehicle is that it can carry 11 men and move faster than the M113, and the most important thing is that the budget for each vehicle is only $5 million. After hearing Smith's presentation, the generals unanimously gave the new vehicle a 5-star review, praising it as a breakthrough in the history of German military equipment. The design was immediately approved, but there was a problem right after the model was made. One of the generals, after looking at the model, thought it would be a good idea to add a reconnaissance function to the new vehicle. Commissioner Smith calmly objected that the scouting module would make the troop carriers more conspicuous and increase the risk of exposure. Smith was about to ask the general to withdraw his order when he heard the general's new idea of installing a few machine gun holes in the vehicle so that it could fire from 360 degrees from the inside. Smith tried to refute this, but no sooner had he licked his lips than the generals came up with the idea of adding a 125mm gun to the mix, so that there would be heavy firepower as well. Smith was in a bit of a dilemma because the artillery and ammunition would reduce the number of troops that could be transported. But he didn't realize that the generals were saying that there would be room for fewer men. Although the generals' ideas were a bit of a headache, but Smith, for the sake of promotion, still modified the drawings so that the troop carriers have been sharpened into tanks. The moment the drawings came out, the developers were speechless. This thing was so conspicuous it would be a target on the battlefield, but Smith was speechless as long as it didn't cause any more problems. But the trouble